You are living in a programmed reality, and it's time to wake up. If you analyze that movie, The Matrix, you begin to realize that the Matrix movie was really a documentary, a metaphor for our life here in the third dimension. Matter of fact, once you begin to get to higher levels of consciousness and you look around, you begin to realize, just like in that Matrix movie, most of the people you know are plugged into that artificial womb. You see, the term the Matrix is actually an ancient religious text. And what it meant was to be born, to come through the womb. And so you see that the writers of the movie, The Matrix, and the director decided to utilize that part of the scripture and text to emphasize that in the movie, to show that in order for you to wake up and become the true person that you really are in real reality, you have to go through the womb. And of course, we saw Neo was birthed out of that womb and he woke up in the real world, okay? Now, analyzing this, we have to begin to realize that we are living inside this matrix. It's a fractal holographic matrix of light. And that everything that exists here is nothing more than light slowed down to a particular frequency. So distance is an illusion. Matter is an illusion. Separation is an illusion. Even individuality is all an illusion. There's only one consciousness, and that is collapsing these frequencies into the illusion of this reality that we are experiencing. Matter of fact, the way that we experience this realm is based on our perception of reality on collected information. The mind is encased in complete darkness. It doesn't know what's going on the outside. But the mind says to its friends, hey, can you go out there and collect some information, some data? So the friends go out, touching, smelling, seeing, hearing, tasting, go out. They begin to collect data. They themselves don't really understand the data and can't decipher it fully, but they transmit that data back to the brain. The brain very quickly sorts it all out and projects a hologram as to what it believes is going on the outside, and you navigate this matrix based on a holographic projection from collected data. That's how you move around this realm. In actuality, we're probably not even going anywhere. It's like the holodeck on Star Trek, right? You're walking on a holo pad that moves you in any direction, but in reality, we're probably not even moving anywhere. Well, what's the point of this? The point is, if you take that as a metaphor for your real life, most people aren't going anywhere. Most people are living in this illusory world that really doesn't exist. It's a world that has been built up on belief structures, a world built up on ideology, a world built up on dogma, a world built up on programming code. And all this programming and this dogma and this ideology and these belief systems and everything else have been fed to us, have created this hologram that we're inhabiting. And from our perspective, we're calling this our life. This is where you have to now understand that you have created your own matrix. You have created a matrix within a matrix. It's like the Inception movie. So somebody on the outside of you, they will perceive you differently. Matter of fact, every person you know knows a different version of you. Every person you know, a totally different version. And then you have your own version of yourself. And from your perspective, from the inside looking out, you have created and built your own reality tunnel, and you're not even aware of it. And because of this or lack of awareness, you don't realize that you have a certain amount of control over your own reality because you're the one who built it unknowingly. But it all starts with understanding the subconscious programming, or really the subconscious reprogramming. You have to begin to understand how do you tap into that subconscious programming that helped to assimilate this entire reality for you so you can break down that reality and then rebuild anew. Rebuild a brand new conscious kingdom where you're the king or the queen of that kingdom and you say what goes. Because you separate yourself from your thoughts and realize that you're the observer of your thoughts. You're no longer completely encased inside the actual hologram itself. You've separated, understanding that your mind is a multidimensional mind. We've been locked into this third dimension inside this avatar body, believing that this is the maximum that we have. But scientists at the Brain Institute realized through scientific studies that the brain connects to up to 11 dimensions. So if the brain is connected to higher dimensions of consciousness and higher realms, just like quantum computers are doing right now, then that means that we're not local. We're non-local to this third dimension. The mind is outside of space and time, which means that we have access to the past, the present, and the future all at once. These are some of the fundamental basic principles that I'm teaching in the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. There's going to be a link in the live chat or the caption of this video or this audio or in my bio. I recommend you click that link and join the Forbidden Knowledge Academy because in there we're teaching really deep stuff. I'm giving you just a small glimpse today. Now, this matrix that we're living in is made of light, as I said earlier. Human beings can only see less than 1% of the light spectrum. We don't get a lot of light. We can't see a lot of the frequencies that are all around us. And thankfully so, because we would probably go crazy. There are so many dimensions stacked on top of us and light waves moving all around. Gamma rays, infrared, ultraviolet, multi-spectrum, right? All these different waves and frequencies, plus the dimensions that are stacked directly on top of us. As Michio Kaku, the world's leading theoretical physicist, said, there are people, places, even maybe potentially, he said, dinosaurs roaming through your living room right now. You can't even detect them or see them because they're in a different frequency. What does this have to do with creating your own reality and manifesting more abundance? I'm trying to get you to understand and see that this realm is much more multifaceted than you even knew. And you have a lot more say-so than you ever even knew. Matter of fact, most of us are the ones keeping ourselves plugged into that artificial womb in the matrix. Because just like in the movie, where the one agent that was supposed to be a comrade of the people that escaped, he wanted to go back and speak with the other agents, and he just wanted to eat a nice, good steak dinner and stay plugged into that womb. He didn't want to face reality. A lot of people are walking around with their head in the sand. You go up to them and you want to talk to them about things that are meaningful and worthwhile talking about other than just gossip and hearsay, and they put their head right in the sand. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They don't want to know the truth. They don't want to hear expressive things that are going to make them expand their minds. They'd rather put their head in the sand. Another reason why I created the Forbidden Knowledge Academy, you're going to find your tribe. There's going to be, right now, there's almost 1,000 people in there, leaders, all looking to work together and create a brand new paradigm shift on this planet. You can join that tribe and be a part of this new awakening culture that we're building in there. And you can be supported. People will listen to you. People will comment to you. People will DM you with positivity and acknowledgement of what you're doing. And of course, they'll hold you accountable to make sure you're always the best version of yourself. If your head is down, they're going to lift it up. So we're creating our reality all the time, and most people aren't aware of it. So that means that everything that we do, everything that we think, everything that we say is having an effect on what's going on around us. We literally think and speak the next phase of our existence into reality, or what we call reality. So if you want to begin to manifest abundance, you have to wake up from the deep sleep, as the Aboriginals say. You have to wake up from dream time. As the Hopi tribe says, sleepy time. We have to begin to realize that we are co-contributors to this reality, and that because we can begin to see how we can create our own outcomes. If you want to change the timeline that you're currently on and shift it to another timeline, you want to fraction it, maybe want to fracture it and break it, then you have to begin to make decisions that are going to go out into the future and alter the future reality by sending your mind outside of space and time. We do this all the time, and we're not even aware of it. We're not even aware of it. You can make a decision to go somewhere. Somebody calls you up and says, can you meet me at this office at 1:00 p.m. today? And you go, okay, I'll meet you there at 1:00 p.m. Now, consciousness and the word has gone out into the future and set a location and a time that you're supposed to rendezvous with. But 5 minutes before it's time to go and leave the house to meet up with that person, something else comes up and now you have to cancel that appointment. What happens? You never make that appointment, which means you never get in your car, you never drive through the neighborhood, you never hit red lights and stop signs, you never created these alternative timelines of pause and skips as people interact with you along the way, and you never make it to the actual meeting, which creates a fractured timeline. The timeline you're on now has shifted and fractured. Now you're on a timeline where you never made the meeting. You're doing something totally different. And because you didn't make that meeting, whatever was supposed to come out of that meeting isn't happening. The timeline is fractured. So we create these fractures on a consistent basis, day by day, moment by moment, based on conscious decisions backed by action. It's the Hermetic principle of cause and effect. Every action you take, every decision you make and action you take is going to have a consequence. Whether it's a good consequence or a bad consequence, you're guaranteed to have a consequence. So now with this knowledge of understanding that we are fracturing time as we make conscious decisions and act on them, we now can see how we can fracture time to our own benefit. In other words, we can bend the matrix to our own will. You need the tools and understanding to be able to do this. One of the things is, for example, understanding that you can send your mind outside of space-time into a future reality. You can isolate what you really want to happen, and you can take action steps and build towards that future outcome so that you rendezvous with that future outcome in the matrix at a future point in space and time. And if you stay true to that and you focus on that and you maneuver that way, eventually you will end up with that manifestation. That's the power of understanding the matrix that we're in and how to navigate it. A fractal means that we're living in a fractal, which means that we're a self-similar pattern repeating itself at smaller and smaller scales. So just like your mind is conscious and is creating these fractured realities, the universe is a universal mind. It's also conscious, and it is also creating these fractured realities or these fractured timelines. We're a fractal of the whole. We're the micro of the macro. As above, so below. So we can't do anything or create anything that doesn't already exist within us and within the universe as a whole. The understanding of this, if you can wrap your mind around this, you can begin to see how you can have complete control over a lot of the things within your own tunnel. Now, collectively, we're co-creating reality as a whole, as a mass, 8 billion people on the planet. But individually, we have more control over our reality tunnel. I'll give you a very simple example. Right now, I'm sitting on a couch in my own living room. There's a glass of water to my left. I have the capability now of making a conscious decision to pick up the glass. I also have the power now, this is my reality tunnel, I have the power to make a conscious decision to take a sip of this water. So, I just acted on conscious thought, and the result was I put water, which is a molecule, inside of my body. So, that's just a small example, and it's a very simple example. But now you can see how you can begin to apply that to everything in your life. You can make a conscious decision about something, and you can act on that thought, and you're going to get a result. This particular result was water going down my throat. But another result can be you manifesting a car, manifesting a house, manifesting a new career, manifesting a new business. All these things can happen by you taking the time to make the thought and then actually focus and act on that thought. It's the energy exchange that creates the manifestation. For me, the manifestation here was I got water inside of my body, which my cells need. It's about understanding that you can get to the outcome that you desire. You can get to this outcome based on your actions. Now, if you are a person who begins to doubt yourself, this is where your self-limiting beliefs begin to creep in. And these self-limiting beliefs begin to tell you that you don't have any power, you can't do that, you can't create your own reality, you're never going to meet up with yourself in a future timeline, you can't manifest this and manifest that. It's all a lie, you can't do it. Look at you. Look where you are. Look what keeps happening. You always got bad things happening to you and blah, 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 blah. Those are called ants, automatic negative thoughts. And if you let those ants take over, they will destroy any dream of manifestation you have in this matrix. Now, if you can stop those ants, if you can catch those ants and stop them and talk to them and tell them to shut up, I'm in control. And who's I? Your higher self. Your spirit self is tethered to your soul, and your soul is inhabiting your body. But your true self, your spirit, is in a higher dimension. You have the ability to separate yourself from yourself in this dimension because we're living in a matrix. And your spirit is non-local. If you go for a walk down the street right now and look left and right, you can observe your neighbor's houses while you're walking. And as while you're doing that walk, you can also be thinking about things that you want to manifest into your life, future things that you want to create, a new business you want to start. You can focus intently on that to the point where you're actually making your plans. How is it that you can walk down the street, navigate the street without falling down and tripping, look around and take in the sights around you, all that data, and focus on something completely off track from what you're doing at the moment, which is walking through your neighborhood? You're planning something in the future. Your mind went out of space and time, left your local domain, and is gone into a future reality while you're walking here in this third dimension in this current time frame. Again, it's proving that the mind is outside of space and time. We're non-local beings. We're multidimensional in this matrix. If you can begin to wrap your mind around what I'm trying to tell you right now, you will begin to see that there's a way out of here. There's a way to create the reality that you actually want. In order to do this, we lay it out step by step by step by step inside the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. There should be a link in the bio, a link in the caption of this video or audio, or maybe even in the live chat if it's running there. I'm just telling you to take a look. There's over 950 people and counting that are all working together to create this new paradigm, to come together and get this understanding, to disconnect from the artificial womb and be born into this matrix so that we can actually learn what's going on, make better decisions, to understand how we can set ourselves up to move forward on a timeline and fracture it where we want it so that we can move into the shift into the timeline that's better for us. These are all the skills that we teach in the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. Understanding where the breadcrumbs are to navigate through this matrix. And all it takes is focus, energy, attention, and a tribe. And we provide the tribe. A tribe of people that are going to be there to support you every step of the way, and I will be your mentor. So click that link, and I'll see you in the Forbidden Knowledge Academy.